If you are a green card holder, this is not a video you can afford to skip or watch later. What I'm about to share with you is the kind of update that separates people who keep their status safe from people who get blindsided by a rule they never knew existed. A major development in U.S. immigration policy has now been confirmed, and if you don't understand it right now, you could be putting years of effort, your family's future, and your entire immigration journey at serious risk. This is urgent. This is official policy. And if you have a green card or are on your way to getting one, this affects you directly. Right now, across the country, thousands of green card holders are living their normal lives, going to work, paying bills, planning trips, raising families, with absolutely no idea that a new set of immigration rules has been approved in Congress and is now moving toward enforcement. Rules that could impact your continuous residence for citizenship, your green card renewals and validity, your use of public benefits, and in some cases, even your ability to stay in the United States long term. And the most dangerous part? Most people won't realize they've been affected until it's already too late. Until they're sitting in front of a uscis officer being asked questions they weren't prepared to answer, or stuck in processing delays that could have been completely avoided with a little preparation. You're watching Immigration Updates Hub, your trusted source for clear, daily, fact-based information on U.S. visas and immigration. This channel exists for one reason: to make sure you are never caught off guard by changes in the system. Because in today's immigration environment, where policies shift quickly, announcements are buried in legal language, and one missed update can cost you months or even years, staying informed isn't just helpful, it's absolutely critical. And what we're going to cover today is one of the most important updates for green card holders in recent months. So, let's get into it. What exactly has changed? According to recent official announcements and multiple government sources, Congress has approved a package of new immigration rules that directly affect green card holders. These are not rumors. These are not maybe proposals. This is policy that has made it through the legislative process and is now moving toward implementation and enforcement over the coming months. If you hold a green card, if someone in your family does, or if you're in the process of getting one, you need to understand how these rules work and what they mean for you right now. The new rules focus on three critical areas that touch the lives of millions of lawful permanent residents: continuous residence for citizenship, green card validity and renewals, public charge, and financial stability. Let's break each of these down in simple, practical terms. 1. Stricter rules on continuous residence for naturalization. First, the new rules tighten the guidelines around continuous residence for green card holders who plan to apply for U.S. citizenship. What does that actually mean? If you've been traveling outside the U.S. frequently or spending extended periods abroad, even for work, family emergencies, or medical reasons, these new rules could make it harder to prove that you've truly kept your primary residence in the United States. Under the updated framework, longer trips abroad may be viewed more aggressively as breaks in residence. Multiple medium-length trips could raise more questions than before. USCIS officers may have less flexibility in overlooking borderline cases. And if you cannot prove continuous residence, your naturalization application may be delayed, sent back for additional evidence, or simply denied, resulting in lost time, lost money, and a huge amount of stress and uncertainty. Many people don't track their travel carefully. They assume, I have a green card, I can come and go. I'll worry about the details later. Under these new rules, that mindset can be dangerous. 2. Tougher enforcement on green card validity and renewals. Second, the new rules update the way green card validity and renewal timelines are handled and enforced. Based on official policy guidance, USCIS is expected to take a much closer look at cases where a green card has expired, a renewal application was filed late, the holder failed to respond promptly to USCIS notices, documentation has been left outdated for long periods. In the past, many of these issues were often treated as annoying but fixable problems. You might get a warning, a request for evidence, or just a longer wait before your new card was approved. Going forward, the same situations could trigger something much more serious: a deeper review of your entire immigration history, questions about your compliance with U.S. laws and requirements. In some cases, even questions about your ongoing eligibility to remain in the United States. In other words, letting your green card expire or dragging your feet on renewal is no longer just a paperwork issue. It can become a red flag, a signal to uscis to look much more closely at your case. This is absolutely not something you can afford to ignore and hope it will work itself out. 3. Stronger focus on public charge and financial stability. Third, my highlight on this part is especially critical. The new rules expand enforcement of public charge and financial stability standards for green card holders. According to government guidance, there will be stricter review of green card holders who rely heavily on public benefits, applicants who cannot clearly show stable employment or income, sponsors and LPRs who appear financially unstable over a longer period. What does that mean in practice? It does not mean you can never use public benefits. It does not mean seeking help during a crisis automatically destroys your status. But it does mean that your immigration future could be affected by how long you use certain benefits, whether you return to financial stability, how well you document your situation, whether officers believe you are likely to become primarily dependent on government support. This can affect your citizenship application, your ability to sponsor family members, how your green card renewals are viewed. Something that once felt routine, like applying to bring a spouse or parent, could now involve much closer review of your income, your job history, and your use of benefits. This can't be about me, right? At this point, some of you may be thinking, I've had my green card for years. I follow the rules. I pay my taxes. This is for people who did something wrong, not me. That mindset is exactly what puts good people at risk. Immigration rule changes don't only affect people who are out of status or who made obvious mistakes. They affect people who think they're doing everything right, people who've lived here peacefully for a decade, people with careers, homes, families, and deep roots in the United States. When new rules are introduced, they often come with retroactive reviews, updated interpretations, and stricter enforcement, all of which can catch even perfect green card holders completely by surprise. Example 1. Travel and continuous residence. Let's take a simple example. Imagine you're a green card holder who's been working in the U.S. for 5 years. You travel back to your home country twice a year to care for aging parents. Each trip lasts 2 to 3 months. Under older guidelines, this might have been okay, especially if you kept a job in the U.S., a home or lease bank accounts, and tax filings. Other clear ties to America. Under the new rules, those same trips could now be interpreted differently. When you apply for citizenship, USCIS might look at your travel history and say, this looks like you were living between 2 countries. This may show a break in continuous residence. And suddenly, your naturalization application could be delayed or denied. Not because you meant to break the rules, but because the rules changed and you didn't know you needed to adjust your travel patterns. Example 2. Benefits and financial review. Here's another situation. You're a green card holder who went through a tough financial period. You used unemployment benefits, Medicaid, or housing assistance, all programs you were legally allowed to access. You weren't abusing the system. You were doing what the law allowed during a difficult time. But under the updated enforcement of public charge rules, when you apply to sponsor your spouse or parent, or renew your own status, or apply for citizenship, officers may now look closely at how long you used benefits, whether your situation has improved, whether your current job and income are stable, and something that seemed completely reasonable and lawful before could now become a point of concern or even a basis for delay or denial. This is why this update is not something you can just scroll past and assume, it's probably not about me. Immigration policy changes don't always arrive with sirens and flashing lights. Often the most dangerous ones start quiet, technical, buried in policy manuals, and only become visible when people start getting denied. By then, it's too late to fix your travel pattern, your documentation, or your planning. What should you do right now? Let's talk about action. Here's what you should start doing immediately if you're a green card holder. 1. Review your travel history. Look carefully at every trip you've taken outside the U.S. over the last 5 years, or longer if needed. How many months per year you've been physically outside the country. If you see repeated long trips, several trips of 2 to 3 months, or patterns that might look like divided residence. You may need to limit your future trips, strengthen your ties and documentation in the U.S., or speak with an immigration professional before filing for citizenship. 2. Check your green card expiration date. Do not wait until your card is almost expired, and definitely not until after it expires. With stricter enforcement in place, an expired green card is more than an inconvenience. If your card expires within the next 6 months, start your renewal process now. Assume processing may be slow. Give yourself as much buffer time as possible. Act early. Protect yourself from unnecessary red flags. 3. Organize financial and benefit records. If you've used any kind of public assistance, unemployment, food assistance, housing support, Medicaid, or similar programs, start collecting and organizing proof of your employment history, records showing your income over time, documentation explaining why you needed assistance, evidence that your situation is stable or improving. Under stricter public charge reviews, you may need to demonstrate that your use of benefits was temporary, it was necessary in a specific period, and you are now able to support yourself or are on a solid path to doing so. The more organized you are now, the stronger your case will be if questions arise later. 4. Don't delay key applications. If you are planning to apply for citizenship in the next 1 to 2 years, or thinking of sponsoring a family member, do not assume you have unlimited time. Immigration rules and enforcement practices are changing constantly. Every month you wait is a month where new policies could be introduced. Processing times could get even longer. Requirements could become stricter. The safest time to act is before the next wave of changes, while you know you still qualify under the rules in place today. We are already seeing processing times for renewals, citizenship applications, and family sponsorships stretch into many months, and in some cases, well over a year. Add stricter rules on top of that, and you're looking at a system that is becoming harder and slower to navigate every single day. The people who suffer most are the ones who wait, the ones who think, I'll deal with it later. I'm sure nothing big will change. But it does change. It is changing. And if you're not paying attention, you risk being left behind. This is not about panic. It's about control, I want to be clear. The goal of this video is not to scare you for the sake of views. Your green card is not automatically in danger tonight. You do not need to run to a lawyer tomorrow morning just because you watch this. What I am here to do is to make sure you understand the reality of these new rules so you can make smart, informed decisions about your future. Staying informed early is the single most powerful tool you have to protect your immigration status. Information gives you time. Time gives you options, and options give you control over your life. Instead of letting the system control you. But information only helps if you actually use it. Watching this video is your first step. Your next steps are review your own situation, check your dates, organize your records, talk to your family, and if needed, get professional advice. Immigration mistakes are incredibly expensive, not just in money, but in years of your life, in stress, and in the impact on your family. And many of those mistakes could have been avoided with a little bit of preparation and awareness. That's exactly why Immigration Updates Hub exists. We're here to make sure you are never the person who finds out about a rule change when it's already too late. We bring you breaking immigration. News official updates, policy changes, and clear explanations in plain language. Not just headlines, but what those headlines actually mean for you your family, and your future in the United States. What you should do next. If this video taught you something you didn't know, helped you see a risk you hadn't considered, or showed you why staying informed is absolutely necessary, then do this right now. Like this video. It helps this information reach more people who need it. Subscribe to Immigration Updates Hub so you don't miss the next major rule change or update. Turn on notifications so you're alerted the moment we post a new immigration update. Because this is not the last important change you're going to see. There will be more. More announcements, more policy shifts, more rules that can affect your visa, your work permit, your green card, or your path to citizenship. And every time they do, we'll be here to walk you through it clearly and accurately. Finally, if you know someone who could be affected by this, a friend, a family member, a coworker, a fellow green card holder, or someone waiting for approval, share this video with them today. Immigration doesn't just affect individuals. It affects entire families and entire communities. When one person is prepared, they can help others be prepared too. If you have questions, if something in this video wasn't clear, or if you want to know how these new rules might affect your specific situation, leave a comment below. I read every single one, and I do my best to respond and guide you whenever I can. This channel is more than information. It's a community. We are all here to help each other navigate the complicated, often frustrating world of U.S. immigration. Just remember, waiting is the biggest risk you can take right now. Assuming this doesn't apply to you, telling yourself you'll deal with it later. Those are the choices that cost people opportunities, delay their citizenship, and in some cases put their status at risk. So take action today. Like this video, subscribe to Immigration Updates Hub. Turn on notifications. Share this with someone who needs it, and most importantly, use this information to protect your future. Because no one else is going to do it for you. Thank you for watching. Stay informed, stay prepared, and stay protected. I'll see you.